Good morning, everybody. It is Jill Allen here from Jill Allen and Associates, and I am the founder of an orthodontic consulting company that specializes in startups and doctors who've been in practice 8 years or less. And today I am bringing you a new session of Coffee Talk, and we're going to be talking about when is the best time to hire in a smaller practice. So not just the time of year, but when you are looking at your financials in a practice and you're starting to feel that pressure of, I feel like I need another employee in my practice, but what we don't want to do is just go by our guts. So what does the data tell us? And if you were to ask an expert like myself about this, what would I tell you? What advice would I give you? So when this question comes from Dr. San Martin in Texas, and I just thought this was just such a good topic to be talking about as we are bringing employees back into our practice, or maybe we have held off on bringing people in through COVID, and now we're trying to make decisions on, okay, do I bring somebody else on, and how do I prepare for or handle maybe all the starts that I've been getting this summer? So my basic rule of thumb, point number one, is going to be in a smaller practice, when you are looking at bringing new employees on, the first thing we want to look at is how much are you producing per month. So kind of my basic rule of thumb is you want to be producing between $20,000 and $25,000 in production a month in order to have one full-time employee. So to me, if you work with me, you know that I'm really not about starts. I'm about increments of 5,000. So that's going to be between $4,000 and $5,000 increments, or $4,000 and $5,000 starts to be able to justify one full-time employee. And in a smaller practice, you know, I say that a full-time employee's hours are a minimum of 32 hours, maybe a maximum of 40, but I'm really thinking we're more along that 32 hours a week to 36 hours a week. So they're usually working 4 days a week, 8 hours a day, kind of gets you the math there. So you've been going along, maybe you are moving into your second year or third year of practice, or you just happen to be a practice that has some smaller production on your books, and you're thinking, okay, how do I move from one employee that's been kind of doing everything to adding that next employee? And one of the things I will tell you is sometimes we have to take the chance before the money is there. So if you're getting to that point where almost pretty consistently you're right at about 20,000 a month in production, and you know that you've been starting more starts and your production is coming up, and you can just feel that the volume is coming, that's probably a good time to go ahead and add that next person on so that you will be ready to handle what is coming at you in the practice. So kind of the thing that I want you to think about is the order in which you hire employees. So as a startup practice or smaller practices, we usually have one person that's doing everything for us. So they're helping us with the front desk, and they're helping us with financials, and they're helping us in the treatment coordinating room, which is wonderful. But then there becomes this balance of, well, what about what's going on in my clinic, and what happens when the phones aren't being answered when we're in a consult? So what you have to kind of decide is, do I need another full-time employee, or maybe I need 2 part-time employees? So I try and encourage my teams to think about how much can you do as a doctor on your own, and at what point do you need an assistant? But do you need an assistant that's there on days when you're not there? Because you may still be working other places, you may still be associating. So I would look for a part-time assistant that can come in, maybe even it's just the afternoons, but that can come in and dedicate to being there on the days when you're in your practice, where in theory you're probably only there 1 to 2, 2 to 3 days a week anyways. And then I want you to also think about what do I need to do from my front office? So we start with one employee that does it all, and then we need to start shifting into developing out our core positions. So I feel like in most cases, we need to go ahead and hire that front desk communications coordinator position. So we need that person to be able to answer the phones and schedule our appointments, and just really give that concierge service to our patients, so that our employee that has been kind of doing it all can really focus on treatment coordinating and follow-up and conversion rates and marketing and maybe some financials or whatnot, depending upon how you have the job duties dispersed. So what we're going to come back to is the rule of thumb for smaller practices is about 4 to 5 starts a month, or $5,000 increments, or 20 to 25,000 in production a month per full-time 32-hour or more employee. Second thing is we need to prepare a little early for what's coming with growth. So we don't want to be producing 40,000 a month and everybody's scrambling and customer experience is going down because we didn't take the time to hire when we needed to. The other thing I want you to think about is, do you really need a full-time employee, or can you hire 2 part-times? So it's either 1 full-time or 2 part-times to handle that role. And as you continue to grow, you add more people. So again, usually it's treatment coordinator, person who does everything, front desk, assistant at minimum part-time to help the doctor on patient days, and then eventually you'll have a full-time assistant, a full-time front desk, a full-time TC marketing, and then you, just as you continue to grow, then you evaluate who you add. Usually the next person is another assistant because you need to be able to handle the columns, and then we might need another front desk person, and we just grow and grow and grow until you are this beautiful big practice. So that is my coffee top tip for today. Next week, we are going to be talking about how to leverage virtual consults during the summer here. And I think that as doctors and teams, we need to be making hay while the sun's shining, right? So how do we leverage some of our virtual consults to take more time to get new patients in? And we're also going to be talking about, are you thinking about your schedule and where you are putting people so that you can get the starts in now before school starts back up or before our fall hits. So again, this is Jill Allen from Jill Allen and Associates. If you would like to find out more about our services, we actually do a la carte and all inclusive. We are always here to help small practices and startups. So please reach out. And if you have a topic that you would like for me to talk about during Coffee Talk this summer, please put it in the comments below. It's been great. Have a happy day and happy Coffee Talk.